Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Guys, welcome to another live session episode with myself. Just to let you guys know, I'm going to be in Riyadh on 28th of October and 29th. We're holding educational seminars on the Dubai real estate market. If you or your friends are there, please do let them know, let them come and watch, so on and so forth. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be taking on questions that I've already received from people online before. If you join us, you're welcome to also ask any question that you might have, okay? So welcome Sufi, Aviz, Shafqat, Mr. Ajay Sandhu, and one other who's joined. Welcome to everybody who's joined in. I really like. Thank you very much for joining in. I appreciate it. If you've got any questions, please, welcome to ask. It's an open forum, specifically Dubai real estate. I'm happy to answer, okay? First of all, let's take up some questions that people have asked because over the last week I've got some very nice questions, comments that have come through, and I'm going to actually be answering them. Okay, so let's answer this person, AOJX. Okay, he asks, can you comment on Article 14 of the law stating that either landlord or tenant can refuse renewal with 90 days notice? Okay, so I'm going to comment on this very quickly. First of all, I think that your question might not be termed correctly. First of all, let's try to understand what Article 14 states, okay? Disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm going to read from what I can see on the internet. Article 14 states, Article 14 is basically stating the following. Unless otherwise agreed by the parties, if either party to the tenancy contract wishes to amend any of its terms in accordance with Article 13 of this law, that party must notify the other party of same no less than 90 days prior to the date on which the tenancy expires. Okay. Now, generally speaking, the way this has played out in the market from what I've seen is a tenant has the right to give notice, okay, to not renew. And this renewal notice is generally agreed between the tenant and the landlord. It could be 60 days before, it could be 30 days before, it could be 90 days before. From my understanding, again, not a lawyer, so please go seek legal advice on this if you're really stuck in a particular situation. This pertains to any other changes to the lease. So for instance, if you're paying in, let's say, 6 checks or 4 checks, and now you want to make them more or make them less, or your landlord wants to make any changes, so on and so forth, okay? You can make those changes, okay? In the Dubai market, the law, I think, favors the tenant in terms of them choosing not to renew, okay? So if it says 90 days before, 60 days before, 30 days before, generally speaking, the tenants are able to give that notice and then not renew. Okay. I've got a question from Vipul Pasari. Hey, would appreciate if you can enlighten on Imperial Avenue by Shapuji Palonji. A good project, good location, good area. It's on the edge of downtown, almost in downtown. Great views of the Burj Khalifa, so on and so forth. And they had up till recently very good post-handover payment plans. Their inventory is pretty much sold out. The project was slowed down considerably. Almost stalled at one stage during the pandemic, but it's up and running now, and I think they're looking at a delivery of next year, June, in 2024. Okay, so it's a great project. It's a good project. I would by all means consider it and do a pros and cons evaluation for yourself. All right, thank you very much for sending hearts. I don't know who that is, but okay, appreciate it. All right, so I've got a very nice question over here by somebody. Straight Path is saying, sir, some Indians I've seen are going with this strategy for retirement funding. They're buying a 3-bed townhouse for 1.5 million for 15 years home loan and 25% down payment by selling their vacant house property in India. Okay, fine, good for them. A 1.5 million townhouse, I don't know where they're buying this right now in Dubai. A 3-bedroom townhouse for 1.5 million. It's a challenge, but you will get some places. So the person says and continues, by doing so, they will have a fixed EMI and rental volatility will go away. Okay, makes sense. They can own a property. Well, they won't have a fixed EMI because EMIs are dependent on interest rates or profit rates if you're using an Islamic bank. But still, I understand your point. They don't have to deal with the landlord who might be arbitrarily increasing rent. So then he says they can own a property and use it for their own living. Okay, makes sense. They're hoping the property value to be 6 million dirhams in 15 years. Most likely, yes. Okay, prices might go up. And if they plan to move to India, they will sell the property here and fund their retirement in India with the corpus. Corpus means what? I think corpus means the difference. Okay. Corpus means the total money invested in a particular project. That's fine. Excuse me. So, to continue on this, I'm okay. So, to continue to this, he says they're hoping that the exchange rate would go from 22 to 35, which will further add to their returns. Okay. 50% of the corpus, which is I think the initial principal amount, will be used for their retirement pension and 50% for the children's higher education and girls' marriages. Fair enough. Looks like you're advising somebody on their financial situation. If they intend to live in the UAE for their retirement life, they will sell the townhouse and shift to Sharjah or Ajman in a 2 BHK flat and keep 50% of the corpus for their pension in national bonds and rest 50% for higher education goes man. What do you think about this strategy, which many working class Indian professionals are planning to do? Sounds good. Sounds okay. I'm not sure how it actually plays out, but the basic principles are buying a value asset. If you're going to be living in the asset, sure, no problem, by all means. Buy it, live in it, and I think it'll be pretty good. Okay, Assalamu alaikum, Tipu joined in, Rishan, Hamza, Rahman. Hello to everybody who's joined in. Thank you very much. If you got a genuine question, please don't hesitate to ask me. I'd be more than happy to answer, okay? Last question, okay, before we switch off this live. And if there's any questions that come through, I'll be happy to answer. Somebody asks me, says, very good point. What do you recommend a realtor should do when the buyer can't make up his mind to an extent where buyer would lock a property after multiple consultations, provide you the checks, and the checks bounce? Oh my God. Okay, let's start from the last part first. If the checks bounce, like, I don't know, you've got a check, right? Watch my other solo podcast where I talk about dealing with people, okay? You're looking for 4 different kinds of flags: white flags, yellow flags, orange flags, and a red flag. A check bouncing is an orange flag, okay? So it's on level 2 and on a threat level, okay? Which means you can always, like, it's not an impossibility that a check would bounce. It can bounce. But you've got to then go and ask and see what happened. Why did the check bounce, right? Was there a particular reason for that check bouncing? And if there was a particular reason for that check bouncing, then you've got to address it. Maybe they forgot to put funds in the account. But if it's a habitual thing and they're just bouncing checks, then you've got to really think through this, right? Why are their checks bouncing, okay? Now, let's talk about not the check part, but you're talking about they can't make up their mind. Look, there's 2 things that a buyer is, for some reason, not making up their mind. Either they're going through not the process with you and they're making impulsive decisions. Have you heard of this term called buyer's remorse? They make a decision too fast because you push them too fast. You don't allow them to make a decision based on logical evaluation of a property, which means that you've provided them with as much potential information that they needed to be able to evaluate things in the right way. So either they've not done that and you've pushed them too fast into making a decision, or they're just not ready for XYZ reason, okay? Just settle down, slow down, and move back. Step back. Give them space, okay? Assess and ask them, what is in your mind? What's going on? Why do you keep moving forward and back? Ask them the same question 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, until you're able to then assess and understand that, look, this gentleman really is either not sure, not ready, doesn't have the money, is wasting your time, so on and so forth. Just try to ask, okay? All right, guys. Listen, if there's anybody who wants to ask a question, please by all means do ask a question. I'd be happy to answer. If not, then I'm actually going to say goodbye to you. Those are all the comments I've had for the week. Don't forget, if you want your question answered during the live, just put it in the comment section on my videos or Instagram. I'd be happy to do that. Also, we're going to be in Saudi Arabia on the 28th of October and 29th. Come and say hello. Come and say hi. The details are all there in the links below in my profiles. You can register. You can come say hi. I'd be happy to meet you. All right, guys. Ciao for now.